easy, but demanding of my staff and demanding of my boss and of the organization. Demanding in asking for responsibility, discussing money, discussing promotions. The general theme was, you don't ask, you don't get. Nothing more complicated than that. Having said that, being ready to get a no when you do ask. Being demanding of yourself, as I said, with generally mastering knowledge or skills, is equal among men and women. It turns out, however, that asking for what you want is much rarer, based on research, among women. Research indicates that men initiate negotiations on their own behalf about 4 times as much as women. There are many interesting, I thought, for example, it was less relevant to younger generation. There is a research done at Carnegie Mellon University, all master graduates getting a job. And it turns out that starting salaries for women with graduate degrees, on average, all graduates of Carnegie Mellon with master's degree, is about 10% lower. This is a 2008 study. So about 10% lower of the men graduating with master's degree. It turns out, as you go into the data and analyze, which was part of the survey, that 60% of those graduating males had some conversation with the new employer about the amount of money they were being offered. 7% of the women, or a ratio of 8 to 1. Just looking at that explains the whole difference in beginning salaries. Now, the point is not the 10%. The point is the accumulated difference over time that results from this behavior where we don't express what we want. I will leave it at that. I will just say that my own demanding style, I have plenty of examples about that relative to myself, but my demanding style, one of a conversation, not a confrontation, turned out to be an advantage as well. The second point I want to talk about is perseverance. And perseverance, as different people have highlighted here, despite setbacks, and as often as I could with a smile on my face, rather than showing my frustration. That's not to say I didn't have the frustration, it's just to say that the frustration was kept to be shown when I went home, not in the office. You must find ways, this whole notion of perseverance, you must find ways to rebalance, because a career is a marathon, and perseverance is critical. My main advice on this particular point to women is never quit a job when you are stuck. It is not that there is a right or wrong. You just first of all get unstuck, because the reality is that for all of us, the pull from home, from family, is very real. And at the point at which we are stuck in our careers, we just can't find a way out, we give in to that pull. It's the wrong point to make that decision, and that has been my main advice to women over the years. The third point was owning my own development, realizing that nobody cared about it as much as I did. That obviously has to do with asking for training, being curious. Curiosity is an extremely important quality, whether in technology or in anything else. But being curious, in my particular case, and I would say for all of you, engineers or otherwise, learning about the company's business. How does the P&L of Microsoft look? Where are they making money? Where aren't they making money? Financial and business savvy are learned skills. None of us were born, many of it. Actively soliciting feedback, making it easier for those who want to criticize to actually criticize. Turns out that men have a tougher problem giving us critical feedback than they have giving to each other. So again, we have a certain responsibility as we own our own development to make it easier for them to give us that feedback. Seeking support and advice, again, part of owning your development, it is not a sign of weakness. Asking for help is not a sign of weakness. And I would say it's a very effective tool for creating trust. And I would say beyond that, asking for advice actually helps you find an accomplice. Building trust and openness in business relationships is critical to promotions and to a career. And finally, my fourth point is about confidence. Confidence is obviously, if you don't have it, pretend you do. It gets better with practice. The more you pretend, the more it comes to you. So have a point of view, express it, don't apologize for it. I still do. Can give you examples later. Be open to possibilities. Resist a very natural temptation. Again, I'm generalizing, but resist a very natural temptation that we as women seem to have, which is discussing our anxieties when we are being given more responsibility or a bigger job. Well, you know, I'm not sure I really can do it, etc. The person giving you the position has at least as much anxiety as you do. So don't talk about it. Or let me say differently, don't talk about it to the person and not at that moment. It is a thank you that you want to express and how happy you are being given the opportunity because you can do the role. Research does show that men are significantly more overconfident than women. And again, there are various ways in which that research is done. You take groups of 4 men and women equally qualified. Among 4 men equally qualified, 3 out of the 4 think they are the best. 1.5 out of the 4, in the case of women, think they are the best. So a little bit less than 40%.